Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so meaningful to be here together with you, whether you're in person or via Zoom or YouTube, for Temple Akiba's Shabbat morning service, during which Mimi is becoming a Bat Mitzvah.
Woo-hoo.
We are so excited to celebrate with Mimi. There's many reasons to celebrate. You are the third Mirvish at Temple Akiba to become a Bat Mitzvah. You are the last one in your class, I believe, in this very strange year to become a Bat Mitzvah. What a journey it has been. And even though I told you I probably wouldn't mention this, I have to. You're the first naming I ever did at Temple Akiba. And the fact that we've come through this journey, it just makes my heart feel very deep and wonderful. I look at you and your incredible siblings and your parents and your family who's here, and we know that this journey has been filled with lots of people who love you very much. So today is a wonderful celebration. My name is Rabbi Shapiro, and I welcome you. We're so glad that you're here to be with us to celebrate. You all should have received a blue prayer book. It was probably on your seats. If you don't have one, I think Rebecca can help find one for you, or Elizabeth Ladova, who is our board member, our leadership member in the back. And we're also going to ask that you make sure that your cell phones are in the silent mode, and you can keep them in your pockets because our service this morning will be captured by a professional photographer. That way we don't have to worry about taking any kind of photos. A number of people have asked if there were yarmulkes available, and we're still in this strange protocol. And so while we usually would have a yarmulke or a talit available to anyone who wants one, we still aren't able to give them out. So our apologies in advance. Some people use their mask as one if they need one, but you can do as you wish. I think of this tent as a big yarmulke that covers all of us. Kendra, do you want to talk about our music today?
I would love to. So Mimi is going to be leading us through most of our prayers and our songs this morning. And there's some other opportunities for us to join in with her and to join in with the rabbi and myself when we're singing. There's some opportunities for us to do some hand motions as well. But we love participation. We love to hear you engage in the music, engage in the service. So as much as you can, sing along with Mimi, sing along with us, sing la la la, or sing the words, sway, do the hand motions, just in any way that you can engage with our service this morning.
So we're going to begin with the singing of Hine Matov, how meaningful it is that we're all here connected as family. It's on page 70, page 70.
Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
For those who are joining via Zoom, we're going to ask a very special favor of you, and we want your voice to be very much a part of this service as well. And so at any point during the service, if you want to share a blessing for Mimi, a word of goodness, something to let her know that you're here, write that in the chat box. And we'll be looking at that chat box every once in a while and adding your liturgy to the service so we can feel your presence even more deeply. We're going to continue on page 72. And Mimi, we invite you and your parents to come forward for the presentation of the Talit. Again, page 72, everyone.
Oh, okay. As I wrap myself in the tali, I fulfill the mitzvah of my Creator. Blessed Adonai, O my soul, Adonai, my God, how great you are! You are robed in glory and majesty, wrapping yourself in light as in a garment, spreading forth the heavens like a curtain. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes. Okay.
Perfect. Hugs and kisses.
So much hug.
Now you don't need sunscreen on your shoulder.
Thank you, Dan and Rachel. Mimi, for the very first time as a Jewish adult, you fulfilled the commandment of putting on your own talit. And to mark this time, we offer a blessing of thanksgiving. It's called the Shehechianu. It's on page 344. And it thanks God for giving us life, sustaining us, and bringing us together to be right here, right now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh.
If we turn back to page 84, we come to the Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings that harness miracles that we encounter every day. Mimi will be chanting the miracles in the Hebrew, and we can respond by singing Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'torim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'givurah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifarah.
Amen. We have our first blessing coming in from Zoom, and this is from Diana Martin and Carlos. Mimi, sending you all our love. You make your parents so proud. That's so beautiful. Keep on sending these blessings in, everyone. We're going to continue in Our prayer books with the Chatzi Kaddish, we're on page 106.
Yitkadal, Yitkadash me Rabba,
Amen.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra hirute, ve'amlich machute,
B'chayechon
B'chayechon
uvyomechon
uvchaye bechol Beit Yisrael.
Bagala,
Bagala, ubizman kariv, v'meru,
Amen.
Yehesh me Rabba mevara, le'alam olme alamaya, Yitbarach, Yittabach, Yitpar, Yitraman, Yitnase, Yithadar, Yithalel, Yithalal, Shmei Dikudisha,
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata
v'nehemata, damiran be'alma, v'meru,
Amen. Our formal call to worship is the Barach. It's on page 108. We invite all who are able to please rise.
Baruch et Adonai hamevora,
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Continuing in the Hebrew on page 110 with the Yotzer or.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei hoshe shalom uvorei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit ma'rabu maseha Adonai kulam bechochma asita mal'a ha'aretz kinyaneha Kitbarach Adonai Eloheinu al sheva ma'aseh yadeha ve'al me'orei or shasita yefa'aru hasela or chadash al tzion ta'ir v'nitzke kulanu me'era le'oro Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer hamarot.
I'm understanding by looking in the chat box, there are people from all over the world here. I mean, we've got Mexico, we've got Israel, we've even got Omaha, I think. I mean, lots of people, but from Mexico, from Nelly Diaz, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Congratulations, Mimi. We love you so much and miss you, your family from Mexico. That's beautiful to have your blessings here with us. At Temple Akiba, when we offer the Shema, we have a tradition of making the letter Shin with our fingers. The Shin is the first letter in Shema. And we cover our eyes, we block out everything external, and we listen to these ancient and beautiful words that Mimi will be chanting and singing on page 114.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated, and Mimi continues leading us in the chanting of the V'ahavta on page 116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
On page 123, as we prepare for the Micha Mocha, let's please all read together the second half of the page in English. And what is my lifespan? I am like a man gone out of Egypt. The Red Sea parts, I cross on dry land. 2 walls of water on my right and on my left. Pharaoh's army and his horsemen behind me. Before me the desert, perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan. Micha Mocha, or Song of Freedom, on page 122.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh.
Our next prayer is the Amidah. It's a section of prayer. And it talks about how we are part of a great big family. We're descendants of Abraham and Sarah. And how meaningful, when we're about to enter this prayer of family, that we get this blessing from the Elkinson family. This is from Cece. Mazel tov, Mimi, my family, and I miss you. So to the Elkinsons, even though you're all the way in Atlanta, your family is still part of our family, and we're all under one big tent of an embrace. We ask the entire congregation, if you're able to please rise on 124 for the Amidah.
Adonai sefer taftivta ufi yagita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umei V'gulam Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemel Be'ahava, Mele Ozer Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam l'Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Mechaye hayim behesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim ramim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melah, Melech memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei mavrom, Kakatuv al yad neviecha, V'karazel zevamar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sevaot, Melech haaretz, Kevodo. Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu ma'adir, Shimcha bechol haaretz. Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkavod. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, vehu Yashmienu, berachamav le'olnei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, Ledor vador. Hallelujah. Ledor vador v'nagid godlecha, Ul netzach netzachim kedushat hanakdish, Veshivcha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai El HaKadosh.
Friends, we're going to take a few moments for our own silent prayers. Let's allow Mimi's beautiful leadership of the service to resonate inside of us. We can use the prayer books from pages 132 to 142 as a guide, or else just take the moment to allow what's going on inside of you to really reflect with your heart and your soul. When you're finished with your own private prayer, you may be seated. We're going to ask for all of the Temple Akiba students and alumni, so you may be even in college at this point, to come forward to help us with our Song of Peace. Jacob, that's you too. Yeah, Ezra, Talia, come on up, folks. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Mimi, you are doing such an incredible job. We love seeing the smiling faces of your family and your friends who are here. Wanted to share just a couple more of the blessings that are coming through. So from Gail Posnack, Mimi, you are doing great. We wish you and your wonderful family every happiness, love, and Gail and Uncle Stan. And Adrian Mirvish wrote, Mazel tov, lots of love. We really miss not being with you. Love, Adrian, Lissa, and family. There's so much love that's coming your way. And it's coming your way because you send so much love our way. How powerfully you've begun to lead the service. We now come to the core, the central part of our service, and that is Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah. And Mimi, you're going to take an ancient document and chant from it, but then share your own wisdom and your own thoughts, bringing life to something that is so ancient and so treasured in our people. So in order for this to happen, we need for certain people to open the ark, and they are here via Zoom. So we want to highlight on our screen up here the Frank family, Erica and Brendan, Frank, and Lily and Liam. Let's see, where are they? There they are. Hey, Frank family. Can you hear us okay? Wave to everyone. There they are. Okay. And we invite the congregation to please rise. And we're on page 244. So the Frank family will magically open the ark like this. Ta-da! There it is. Okay.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'en kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai himloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, av harachamim, hitiv avitzoncha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Kivecha levad batachnu Melech Elram v'nisa Adon olamim. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. We're now going to invite generations of the family to come forward. We're going to ask you to stand, sort of starting where I am right now, the grandparents over to Mimi at the end, but I'll call you up one by one. So we invite Alice and Charles Zlatkov to come forward. Joining us via Zoom is Linda Mirvish, who we're going to be spotlighting. Linda Mirvish. We also asked to come forward Martin Miller and Dan and Rachel, of course, and one of your siblings, Jonathan and Rebecca, join us as well. So, Mimi toward the end. Jonathan and Rebecca, come to the other side of Mimi, actually. Dan and Rachel right next. There we go. Come on forward. Thank you. Lador vador. From generation to generation, this treasure has come down from our people, beginning with Moses, who had a conversation with God at Mount Sinai. Mimi, today that conversation comes to you, but it's not yours to only hold on to. Just as your siblings held it and passed it over, so too will you hold on to it and then spread its joy to all those who come near you. Lador vador. Lador vador. Lador vador, nagid golem.
נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש.
Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Galuli Adonai Tion Romema Shemo Yachtav.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam, Ha'olam, Omed. You may all go back to seats. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam, Ha'olam, Omed. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al HaTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Please be seated, everyone. What a joy it is that we're able to invite every single member of Mimi's class forward for the first Aliyah, because all of you have become Bar Bat Mitzvah at this point. So you're going to come stand over by that podium where Kentrolani was. Ya'amdu kol hakita. We now invite every single one of them to come forward for this Aliyah. Okay. You guys ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Ki tetzela mechama al oivecha untano Adonai Elohecha be'adeha v'shavita shivyo v'ra'ita bashivya eshet yifat toar v'hashakta va v'lakachta lecha leisha.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'Chayei Olam Nata B'Toheinu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach, everyone. It's so good to see you. Thank you. For our second Aliyah, we invite forward Martin Miller, Ya'amud Manis Leib, Barachayim Miriam. You're going to come right over to this podium over here.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amin V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Okay. Start again. Keep on going.
Right there.
V'haveta el toch beteha v'gilacha et rasha ve'ashva et zipornecha ve'hesira et simlat shivya me'aleha ve'ashva beveteha uvachta et aviha ve'tima yerach yamim ve'achar ken tavo ela uvalta ve'hayu letotafo ben V'hayeta lecha leisha.
Martin? Blessing after Martin.
The one at the bottom?
At the bottom?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Yasher Koach, thank you.
Yasher
That's
Koach,
it?
thank you so
I'm done?
much.
Okay, I'm done? Okay,
You're done?
thanks.
Just leave that open. Thank you.
For our third Aliyah, we've got a few different locations here who are together. We invite forward Leora Mirvish, who's here, and via Zoom, Linda Mirvish, and Linda is in Omaha, and Doreen Bahiri, who is here from Israel. Right, yeah, okay. Ta'amdu Leah Yenta bat Yaakov Rivka, ודורית בהירי בת יהודה לב והינדי, ויוליה ליאורה בת שלמה זלמן ולאה ינטה.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך מבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
והיה אם לא הפצת בה ושלחת לנפשה ומרחור לא תמכרנה בכסף לא תדמר בה תחת אשר ניתה כי תהיינה לאיש שתי נשים האחת אהובה והאחת שנואה וילדו לו בנים האהובה והשנואה הבכור והיה הבן הבכור לשנייה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי העולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Thank you so much. For our fourth Aliyah, we invite Alice Zlatkov and Charles Zlatkov. Ya'amdu Elke bat Avram Uperel Bechikl bar Joseph Vizlata.
Adonai Hamvarach,
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
And the silence.
והיה ביום הנחילו את בניו. Oh, wait, is this in the right place? Right here. Okay. והיה ביום הנחילו את בניו, את אשר יהיה לו לא יוקל, לבקר את בן האהובה על פני בן השנואה הבכור. כי את הבכור בן השנואה יכיר, לתת לו פי שניים בכל אשר ימצא לו, כי הוא ראשית עונו לו משפט הבכורה.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet. Olam Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Thank you so much. For our fifth Aliyah, we invite forward Rebecca Mirvish and Jonathan Mirvish. Ya'amdu Rivka Perel bat Daniel Moshe v'Rachel Leah v'Yonatan Avram bar Daniel Moshe v'Rachel Leah.
Ready? Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki hieh leish ben sorer u'moreh, einenu shomea b'kol aviv uv'kol imu, v'hosiu oto ve'lo yishma alehem v'tafsu vo aviv ve'imo v'hotziu oto al zignei iro ve'al sha'ar mikomo.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you both so very much. For our next Aliyah, we invite forward Rachel and Daniel Mirvish. Ya'amdu, yay, Rachel and Daniel. Ya'amdu, Rachel Leah Bat Mitzvah Be'elke Daniel Moshe Bar Shlomo Zalman Ve'Leah Yenta.
Baruch hu et Adonai habarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ve'ameru al zignei iro, beinenu ze sorer u'moreh, einenu shomea b'kolenu zolel v'sovei, orgamu kol anshe iro, va'avanim va'amed, ve'yarta hara mikir becha, ve'talita ve'ho Yisrael, yishmeu ve'ira'u.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach.
Good job.
Ta'amod, ha'bachara bat mitzvah, Miriam, Laila, Bat Daniel Moshe, Rachel Leah. We now invite the Bat Mitzvah herself, Miriam Mirvish, for her Aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'hihyeh ve'ish heit mishpat mavet v'humad v'talita oto al eitz lo talin nivlato al ha'etz ki kavod tikberenu bayom hahu ki leilat Elohim talui velo tetame et adamatecha asher Eloha Adonai Elohecha noten lecha leisha lahala nahala. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Wow. Change the sign for just 1 second. My gosh, Mimi, that was so beautiful. We're going to show everyone the text that she so beautifully just chanted from. We're going to ask if you're able, if you can please rise.
Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe
Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai. Please be seated, everyone. Not you. Right. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Mimi just chanted from the Book of the Law from Torah. She's going to continue with the section of the prophets, the Haftarah, and the Haftarah portion corresponding to what she just chanted is from Isaiah. She'll begin with the blessing beforehand and then go right into the Haftarah portion itself.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar ba b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Roni akara Roni akara lo yalada piti rina v'tzahali lo hala kirabim b'nei shomer ma mi b'nei ve'ula amar Adonai harhivi mekom acholei v'riot mishkanotai yatu al tasohi ha'arihi metarai v'tedotai hazeki ki yamin usmol tifrotzi v'zar'ei goyim yirash ve'arim neshamot yoshivu altir kilo tevoshi ve'alti komi kilo takpiri ki voshet alumai tishkahi ve'herpad almenutai lo tiskeriod ki vo alai osai Adonai sevaod shemo vego ale kedosh Israel Elohai koharetz yikare ki isha azuva ve'atzuvat ruach kerach Adonai ve'eshet neurim ki tima'es amar Elohai berega katon azavti uvrahamim gedo alim akabetse beshet sef histarti fanarega mime uvhesed olam tishka rihamti amar go'alai amar Adonai Kimei Noah zot li asher nishbati me avor me Noah od al haaretz ke nishbati miksof alai umigorba ki heharim yamushu vehagiva od temutena vehasti mete yishma lo lo yamush uvrit shelomi uvri shelomi lo tamut amar merahame amar merahame Adonai.
Hold on 1 second. That was pretty amazing. As you, Mimi, offer the blessing after the Haftarah, your classmates are going to be handing out candy to everyone. Go ahead, start handing it out. So here are some ground rules. When Mimi is finished with the blessing after, everyone here will have the opportunity to gently, lightly, lovingly shower this space with candy descending from heaven. Once the candy is thrown, Jonathan, gently. Once it is thrown gently, everyone who wants to can have a chance to come up and pick up the candy from our space here. Mimi, are you ready?
Sure.
Blessing after. Baruch.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sur kol haolamim Sadik bechol hadabrot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer ve'oseh Ha'medaber u'mekayem Shekol devarav emet v'tzedek Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanve'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha ve'limnucha lechavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim la Umvahim ota yitbarach shimha befikochai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat.
All right, everyone, come on up and clean up the candy.
What?
You get hit?
Yeah, a little.
Should I put them in the basket? Yeah.
You can just keep.
Can you have a seat?
Okay.
Good job.
We have
Done? Well, do you know what was going to?
Alex. I don't know where this came undone from. Someone tripped on it. Is that part of the TV? Okay.
With all the joy that we are experiencing, we have a responsibility to think about those who could use extra strength at this time. Mimi has nourished us in so many ways with that strength, and we need to take that nourishment and remember those who can't feel it so easily. On page 253, page 253, is our prayer for healing, the Mischa Barach. And we are going to begin this together. When we get to the middle, as my eyes meet yours, perhaps there are people that you are thinking of who could use strength and blessings at this time. So please say those names out loud. And for those who are here via Zoom or YouTube, please write those names in our chat box so that we also can see the people for whom you are thinking.
Mischa Mekor habracha ve'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Barach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And let us say Amen.
We turn now to page 256, and we invite forward to open the ark Evelyn McDonough, Natalie Guerra, and Elizabeth Tonda to please come forward, and we invite the congregation to please rise. And Natalia, excuse me, yes, over here. Right on this side. So take it and open it. Yep, keep on going, keep on going. There we go. Ki lekach tov natati lahem torati al ta'azovu. For I have given you a good instruction. Do not abandon my Torah. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree. It's not a bush. Shalom, 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 shalom. Eitz hayim hi lemachkazik kiva betomecha, meishar. Eitz hayim hi lemachkazik kiva betomecha, meishar. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Perfect. Thank you, Connie.
Please be seated, everyone except for Mimi.
Hi everyone. You've probably already figured out by now that my name is Mimi and this is my Bat Mitzvah. Thank you everyone who has come from up to as close as right next door and as far as across the country. Also welcome everyone zooming in from much further. A bat mitzvah to me is just another stage in your life. In my mind, I like to divide my life into stages of different accomplishments. Birth, starting school, bat mitzvah, high school graduation, getting your first real job, marriage, maybe kids, and death. There might be a few more in there that I forgot, but those were the only ones I could think of while I was writing this. A bat mitzvah is just the third stage of my life. It divides your childhood and the beginning of adulthood. It means I have to start being more mature and I have more responsibilities, like fasting for Yom Kippur and to follow all the Jewish laws. So look out for the new and improved Mimi Mirvish. This week's Torah portion is called Ha'azinu from the book of Deuteronomy. This is not my portion. I wanted to make it easier on myself by keeping the same portion from my original bat mitzvah date. So my portion, the portion from August 29th, 2020, is Kitei Sei. In Kitei Sei, the children of Israel are on a 40-year journey from Egypt to Israel. Moses is giving advice because the children are desperate and need some guidance. All of his advice eventually turns into laws. 2 of his laws were to not abuse the needy and destitute, and to not turn back to get any sheaf that you left in your fields while reaping the harvest. The first one, don't abuse the needy, is pretty simple. If someone is struggling, don't make it any harder than it already is. For example, the biblical phrase, you shall not insult the deaf or place a stumbling block before the blind, is a perfect example of this. It is so blatantly mean to place something in front of a blind person. If anything, you should be helping them get where they're going. In our society, there's a serious homelessness issue going on, especially in LA. It would make everything much easier if the wealthy gave back to the poor, and that way everyone could have a roof over their head and food at the table every night. The second is a little more complicated. It reads, when you reap the harvest in your field and overlook a sheaf in the field, do not turn back to get it. It shall go to a stranger, the fatherless and the widow. To me, this means that if you leave something somewhere that you don't necessarily need, just leave it for someone who could value it more. Some of us are more lucky than others and have the privilege to buy extra food, for example, but some people rarely ever get enough. If you ever have any non-perishable foods that you know you'll never eat, it is always a good idea to donate them to homeless shelters, where people who really need it will get it. Also, if you ever just have a few scraps of food left on your plate, since you can't donate them to the needy, you can always donate them to the earth by composting. Composting is a great way to help the earth, and it is so easy too. To me, Judaism is a community, whether it comes to Hebrew school, camp, or just Jews around the world. We're all connected through our traditions. For example, finding the afikomen on Passover, eating apples and honey on Rosh Hashanah, which we did just a few days ago, or going to summer camp. A kibbutz resident camp has been one of the best ways I've connected to Judaism. Plus, I get to do it with all my friends. I have made some of my best friends through camp, and I've made some of my favorite memories with those friends, whether it comes to having our counselors walk in on us playing games at 2 in the morning, sending fake love letters through inter-camp mail, or having cabin time under the stars. Camp is one of the best and closest communities I'm a part of. It is so exciting to see all my friends and counselors on the very dead grass of Camp Whittier every year, and those 12 days have to be, with no doubt, the highlight of my year every single year. I'm so thankful for the Jewish community I'm a part of through camp, and I don't know what I'd do without my Jewish pals. Thank you so much to the Sisterhood for the Kiddush Cup and the men's group for the Tanakh. Thank you, Randy Bischoff, for being a great religious school director. Thank you, Cantor Lonnie, for teaching me all the prayers, Torah Portion, and Haftorah, because you probably noticed I definitely needed your help. Thank you, Rabbi Shapiro, for helping me write my speech. Thank you to all my friends who have put up with me for all these years. Thank you to my sister, Becky, for letting me do all those things our parents wouldn't let me do. Thank you to my brother, Jojo, for being kind to me sometimes. And finally, thank you to my parents for being there for me my entire life. That's it.
Stay there. Let's see. The sometimes kind brother, Jonathan. Why don't you come up and share some words with your sister?
Hold on. Heat, not nail. Okay.
Miriam Lila Mirvish. There's so much to say about you. I was initially having trouble just trying to describe you. Two easiest ways to describe you, I'd say, is with two statements. First one, you're pretty normal, very calm, boring person. And the second thing is that after knowing her for enough time, you find out that the first thing is completely off. For me, it took 4 years of knowing her to find out about the second thing. As soon as she discovered the word, Mimi has been describing herself as eccentric, at least to me.
Okay.
And I agree to an extent, but she is so much more. You see, she somehow manages to be both fiercely independent and yet very social, shy but loud, accepting of mistakes, yet also a perfectionist. For better and sometimes for worse, you'll always be Mimi to me.
Okay.
Thank you, Jonathan. Rebecca.
Hi, Mimi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Great.
Wait, go.
Oh, I should go here. Mimi, as we all know, Mimi was supposed to have her bat mitzvah a long time ago, and now you're the last person in your class. So that is very exciting. And I'm so happy to be here. And I had a speech, but I left it somewhere. But what I wanted to say about Mimi is, as everyone probably knows, Mimi, I'm sure you've seen a group photo or two where Mimi has to be in the very front with her arms spread out as wide as possible because she loves to be the center of attention and always has. And I think by planning this whole COVID thing so that your bat mitzvah happens last, I think she did that on purpose. Mimi is the reason that coronavirus happened so that she could have her bat mitzvah last and she could have all of her friends do the blessing before the Torah because she's the last one, and she did that on purpose because she loves being the center of attention. And I love that about you, never change, and I'm so proud of you. You did a great job, especially with the Torah. I noticed that was so much, and also a great job with the Torah, and I love you so much. Okay.
Where's your speech?
Thank you, Rebecca. Dan and Rachel, why don't you come on forward?
Hi.
So thank you, Rabbi Zach and Cantor Lonnie, for leading us today and always being present for our family and by creating a community and a warm second home. I feel so lucky to be part of Temple Akiva in Culver City. These are wonderful places for our children to grow up. And thank you, everyone, for sharing this special day with our family, braving the pandemic to be here. It means a lot to us to be surrounded by so many wonderful people in Mimi's life. About 3 years ago, we started talking about B'nai Mitzvot in your Hebrew school class. Your class's parents were brought together for a session to prepare us, and we were each asked what we wanted our children to get from becoming a B'nai Mitzvah. I wanted you to have a place in Jewish history. At the time, I really could not have understood how historical it would end up feeling today. Who would have predicted what has been going on for the past 2 years? I thought, this one will be easy. Number 3, we've done all this before. But we have not done this before. Each step of preparing for today, we try to rethink and figure out how to make things work to ensure you have a nice day and celebrate with the people you love. We are doing that, but everything's a little bit different from what we'd expected. Many people were not able to join us in person, but they are still part of this day. We are not inside the synagogue you've been attending since birth, but are still on the campus where you've been going to camp, learning, and being an active member of our community. Aren't we really lucky that this is such a small change? Well, I know you'd like to have a big party with lots of music and dancing. Your celebration will be like none other, and it will be historic and memorable because of our unique time, and it will be yours. We really are so lucky to celebrate in this place, at this time, in this country. History has not always allowed this. While the pandemic has changed a bit of how we're doing things today, we are very fortunate to be here doing this today. It's good to be open to change. A fresh creative perspective leads to innovation. Today, we celebrate you becoming an adult in the Jewish community. Temple Akiba has raised you well. We want you to embrace the education you've gotten here to live a life of integrity, ethics, and joy. When your dad was recovering from an accident he was in while our house was being built, we were so happy he was doing well that we decided to have another baby. This came as a surprise to some. Dad and I both come from small families. We already had a boy and a girl. Why not? Let's make good use of this big house we now have. You brought such joy to your brother and sister. When you were born, they loved you so much. They were intrigued by this tiny creature with your tiny fingers and toes. A few months after you were born, I ran into someone I hadn't seen since I was pregnant. She asked how my baby was doing. Fabulous. I could not think of a better word to describe you. In preschool, each day you arrived, everyone would yell, "Mimi!" like you were Norm from Cheers. Only this side of the synagogue is laughing. We'll explain it later. You looked at the world as an enchanted place, eager to explore and experience all that is out there. In elementary school, you made so many true friends. You stayed close to the circle for years, and there are many years to come. You are so fortunate to be surrounded by these wonderful people. You've taken well to so many things: school, sports, art, music. I love you so much, and I'm proud of you in so many ways. It's really quite easy. You are gifted in so many ways. Things seem to come easily to you. Please don't take this for granted. I really want you to appreciate how lucky you are and use it to earn all you're capable of. The world is at your feet. One nice thing about the pandemic is that it has stretched out your classmates' year of B'nai Mitzvot celebrations into almost 2 full years of sporadic parties, Zoom celebrations, and drive-through goodie bags. In the future, people will look back in awe at this amazing time when B'nai Mitzvah season lasted for 2 whole years. Thank you to your friends, their families, Rabbi, Cantor, Robin Altman, Randy Bischoff, and the entire synagogue for finding creative and inspiring ways to make all these celebrations memorable, unique, and most importantly, as safe as the circumstances allow.
Now I get some? Okay. Okay. Mazel tov, Mimi. You did an amazing job with the service today and with reciting Torah and Haftorah. I know all your ancestors, including Grandpa Sidney, and even your great-great-grandfather, Rabbi Moshe Mirvish, would be looking down on you and would be very proud, but also a little confused by what's a Zoom mitzvah. Thank you to the Rabbi, Cantor, Robin, and Randy for preparing Mimi for her Bat Mitzvah. We know how hard it's been to juggle all these changing dates and circumstances for Mimi and her classmates and keep them prepped and primed to lead a service in whatever form it might take, whenever it might take. And thank you to all our guests who've traveled in real life, who've either in real life or are here virtually in time zones around the world. Mimi, when your mother gave birth to you and your brother and sister came to the hospital and ate the brittle that Rebecca and Talia made for your mom, and your brother was slightly more amused by the knipshers, or industrial air conditioning units, in the hospital than by his new baby sister, it was only later that it dawned on us that you were born on Friday the 13th. Now, we're not the most superstitious family, but far from being unlucky, this was indeed the luckiest day in our lives. We knew that the French consider Friday the 13th lucky, so we considered moving to France. Or, as I taught Mimi to say, sacre fromage. But as Mimi grew older, she embraced this idea and found that 13 is indeed her special lucky number. Both her first name and last name start with M, the 13th letter of the alphabet, and her nickname Mimi has 2 M's in it. Her birthday is 13 days before Rebecca's, and naturally she was excited to learn that 13 is a lucky prime number in math and is part of the Fibonacci sequence. Millard Fillmore was the 13th president of the United States. And Niall from One Direction was born on September the 13th. As I've come to learn, 13 is also a very lucky number in Judaism. Jacob had 13 children. There are 13 Yom Tovs, or festivals, in the Hebrew calendar. There are 13 months in a Hebrew leap year. And in fact, you chose to read 13...
Actually, I counted. It's 14.
It's 14?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get to that later. Okay. There are 13 months in a Hebrew leap year. According to Jewish numerology, the words ahava, or love, and echad, one, or unity, add up to 13. The great Jewish scholar Maimonides, not in one direction, famously articulated the 13 principles of faith. And on Yom Kippur, we learn that God has 13 attributes of mercy, or shalosh etzra midot harachamim, and they are referred to many times in the Bible. While these are attributes of God, we, and especially Mimi, would do well to model our own lives on them. Compassion before a person, compassion after a person, compassion before a person sins, compassion after a person has sinned, mighty in compassion, merciful, gracious, slow to anger, plenteous in kindness and truth, keeping kindness unto thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and pardoning. So, Mimi, whenever your brother stinks up the living room, or your sister farts in your general direction, your mother makes you clean your room, or your father insists on using a photo of you where your head is 6 degrees crooked, please forgive our transgressions and please pardon us. For Mimi, when I think of the number 13, I think of some of her most defining attributes and activities. 1, dance. From taking ballerina dance classes as a toddler and kindergartner to dancing with friends at the El Marino Glitter Ball to camp, you've relished in the joy of movement and bodily expression. As Rebecca quite rightly pointed out, rarely is there a photo of you and your friends that doesn't show you in the front blocking most of your friends with outstretched jazz hands. 2, music. Music's always been a big part of your life, from listening to Radio Disney on the way to school every day to playing recorder in 3rd grade and beyond, to performing in the folk band, and yes, apparently clogging your feet on a wooden box actually turned yourself into a musical instrument, to endless years of viola and making music with your friends in orchestra. And on every road trip, we have endless debates about the comparative musical merits of Liam, Niall, Louis, Zane, and Harry. Styles. Number 3, travel. We named you after my beloved Aunt Miriam, who spent her life traveling to all corners of the globe, accidentally starting revolutions, dating spies, meeting Mother Teresa, and saying with a straight face things like, "Oh, you must go see our dear friend, the Sultan of Zanzibar." There are many things about you that remind me of Miriam, but I'm very happy to say that you've embraced her love of travel and adventure. When you were just a baby, we took you up heavily guarded rivers in the jungles of Chiapas looking for Mayan ruins. When you were in 5th grade, you jumped at the chance to go to Guadalajara for the Mexican exchange program for 3 weeks. And you've embraced your amazing fluency in Spanish and worked so hard to keep earning your biliteracy awards. And when I was traipsing around the world going to film festivals and you complained of, quote, abandonment issues, you jumped at the chance to go with me to my next festival, even if it turned out to be in Phoenix, your least favorite place. Number 4, sports. Sports have played a big part in your life from a very early age. From watching your brother and sister on the sidelines at soccer and volleyball, you were determined to play harder and for more years than either of them. And you've succeeded. When we watch you play, you throw yourselves into these sports, diving, kicking, hitting, sometimes all in the same sport. Even during the pandemic, when team volleyball was sporadic, you were bound and determined to practice against the walls, even if it meant breaking a few light bulbs along the way. For many teams, you were the one kid who sought out and got assigned your lucky number 13 on your back. What we love is that for you, it's not about beating the other team nearly as much as improving your own skills and supporting your teammates. The high point of AYSO soccer was always the tunnel, orange slices, and the snacks after the game. We miss those tunnels, but we're happy to say snacks are still key to enjoying volleyball. Visual arts. You've always been an incredibly talented illustrator, painter, and visual artist. From doing ceramics classes to art classes in school, you've always jumped headlong into visual expression. When you found out your big brother was doing illustrations for my book, you insisted on doing some too, and then on getting paid for them. You've loved going to museums, yes, to roll on the grass at the Getty, but also to sit for hours in the room where you could sketch your own artwork. And you insisted I build you an art bench so you could carve out your very own corner of the garage as your personal art studio. We're up to number 6. Science and technology. In elementary school, you always looked forward to the science fair so you could work on the stinkiest science projects you could find. Even better if they involved measuring the pH of purple cabbage and beets. I have so many fond memories of you going to science museums in every city we visited. At a computer museum in Silicon Valley, you taught yourself how to spell Mimi in Morse code with your eyes closed. I don't know if you still remember. At the Exploratorium in San Francisco, you spent hours tinkering with electronic contraptions, which we then replicated at home. And then we spent hours working together or with Cece to make cardboard contraptions as birthday celebrations or elaborate moving Christmas signs. Number 7, film. Though you've claimed not to be all that interested in making movies yourself, you've always insisted on doing anything that you can and getting as many IMDb credits as possible on all my films. In January, when we were trapped at home shooting insert shots, you proudly painted your nails blue to work as a stunt hand double while simultaneously gripping and gaffing lights and performing background voices. You've joined me in projection booths, film archives, and screenings in Nebraska. And while you may not have liked that I dragged you to Phoenix, once we got there and you found out that you were the youngest one at the festival by at least 30 years, you insisted on watching movies, going to panels, filming my Q&As, going to parties, hustling our book, and in general behaving like the epitome of a cheerful, independent filmmaker. Number 8, medicine. Thankfully, you've also shown a keen interest in your mother's career. You've grown up knowing instinctively what creams, lotions, and potions to use on every manner of cut, abrasion, rash, or mysterious inflammation. You love sitting around at dinner helping your mother solve her latest medical mystery diagnoses. A patient with green fingertips and breath that smells of rotten onions? You'll figure it out. And of course, in the last year and a half, like so many of your friends, you've developed an amazing new expertise and fluency in infectious disease and immunology. Thankfully, you know that whatever career you wind up in, the key is success in school. And you've worked so hard, studied hard, and we've been so proud of you for being a valedictorian in middle school among your other academic achievements. Number 9, Girl Scouts. You've been so lucky to find such an amazing Girl Scout troop early on and to stick with them through thick and thin mints. Yes, you've embraced the selling of Girl Scout cookies with the ruthless gusto of a carnival barker. If there was a chance to stand in front of pavilions and assault innocent shoppers with impossible-to-resist sales pitches and free samples, you would take it. Whenever someone new moved into the neighborhood, your first question was, do they have young boys who would A, want to buy Girl Scout cookies, and B, not compete against you on your home turf? Number 10, Improv. You were fortunate to be among the very first little siblings of Culver Middle School's unique Improv program. Thankfully, these Improv skills came in handy while you, Becca, and Jonathan waited patiently for buses at Disney World or were stuck on road trips in the back of a minivan for hours on end. It was such a joy to see you rid your innate shyness and perform first on stage and then adapt wonderfully to performing in your room for Zoom-based improv. Try that on for size. Number 11, camp. The Temple Akiba community has brought you so much joy over the years. From Hebrew school to summer day camp to the highlights of resident camp every year, you and your fellow campers have endured the vagaries of fires and pandemics and proven that camp isn't a physical place as much as it's been a tradition and a basis for a lifetime of friendships and ridiculous camp songs. Though this was technically your last year as a camper, I can attest that the instant you left, you and Cece and Nava and the rest of your beloved Kestrels were already planning next year's adventures as CITs and your future as counselors. Number 12, cooking. You've been comfortable in the kitchen since before you could walk, from helping Dahlia make Puerto Rican beans to baking pumpkin flan with Grandma Alice, calling your Grandma Linda in Omaha, or Yaya as we call her, with essential questions about her cookbook, making cookies with your sister and brother, to baking with me, especially if I'm not using Jamie, our sourdough starter. During the pandemic, you stepped up your game and rose to the occasion, making elaborate dinners for your mother, binging the Great British Baking Show, and baking all manner of new and intriguing recipes. And yes, you really seem obsessed with everyone else following recipes, even if you yourself have been known to use those improv skills in the kitchen from time to time. Number 13, finally 13. Your mother spoke about how blessed you've been to have such amazing friends and to have kept those same friends for so many years. But even as you've expanded your circle to include new volleyball friends, new kids who've moved to town like Signy, or regrettably had to say goodbye, or at least farewell to some like Cece, the amazing thing about you and your generation is that technology has allowed you to keep in touch. Whether your friends are in Atlanta, or Samo High, or Laces, or, yeah, I switched the order around. Hopefully, that's a positive legacy that you'll take away after this pandemic. You're the epitome of the Zoom generation, and you've found a way to realize that friendships are stronger than hugs, late-night group chats are more frequent than sleepovers, and masks are a convenient way to hide teenage zits. And of course, the most lucky thing about the number 13 in Judaism is that is the age when Mimi would become a bat mitzvah. She's been looking forward to this age since she was born. We have a tradition in our house that once you have a b'nai mitzvah, you're not allowed to lick the cookie dough, pancake, or cake batter bowl anymore. Well, Mimi, your brother and sister are jealous of you. You've gotten a whole extra year of bowl licking more than they did. Although Rebecca pointed out this morning that once you get confirmation, you're allowed to lick the bowl all over again, right? That's the new rule. As I was editing your photo montage, it was hard to pack your whole life into one video. After all, that extra bonus year added a bunch more photos and memories. I wasn't looking to make it a specific running time, but as I finished it yesterday afternoon, I looked at the final running time, and wouldn't you know it, it was exactly 13 minutes and 13 seconds long. Don't worry, it felt shorter. No, it didn't. Kind of weird, though, huh? It was your life's way of telling me that 13 is truly your lucky number. So yes, technically, I know you're 14 now, and maybe that will become your new lucky number, because you did 14 verses today. Your age, it is now your age when you actually had your bat mitzvah. It's the age you started high school, and yes, hopefully the age you can go back to real hugging friends. But we love you so much, Mimi. You'll always be our lucky number 13.
How many pages was that?
What?
How many pages was that?
So many pages. It was more than 13 pages. It was a lot. Okay. All yours.
Thank you so much. Mimi, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah? We're all so proud of you. What a journey this has been. I close my eyes and I think to some of my earlier days at Akiba, right around this time of year, when we'd have Tashlech, the ceremony of throwing our sins away in the water. And your family would always come on their bikes with you in the back. And I'd say, Dan, Rachel, so good to see you. And they would say, yeah, we brought our Mimi to throw in the water. And I said, I don't think that's the meaning of Tashlech. But they, at your very early age, wanted to embrace you with a sense of a wider Jewish community. And I'm so grateful to your family for doing that and for gifting us, you and your siblings, who bring so much joy to us. When you and I began to work together toward this day, there was this sense of depth and quirkiness and joy that you brought to every meeting that we had. And you asked so many questions along the way. One of them had to do with the shape of our Torah scroll. You wanted to know, well, why is it in a scroll and not in a printed book? And I think about that a lot. There's something that would be so much easier if we just had a book, or if we just had an iPad. I mean, we're scrolling anyway, so it's one scroll to another kind of scroll. Mimi, the beauty of having a scroll for Torah is that we're constantly turning it. And it's a metaphor for our lives, that there's not really an open and close to a scroll. You just keep on turning it, and you keep on turning it. One of our sages in the Ethics of Our Fathers reminded us, hafochba v'hafochba, turn it over and turn it over, because everything is there. That's not only about Torah, about scrolling it all the time, but also about life. That we get to the bottom of a column and we turn it again, and we turn it again. And in just a couple of weeks, we come to Simchat Torah, where when we get to the end, we turn it all the way back to the beginning, and we start fresh. You are a reminder that there's always something to turn to in life and something to look forward to on that next column. You keep us moving forward. You remind us that momentum is important. And even in your particular Torah portion, there's an added element. You spoke so beautifully about our responsibility to not pick up the sheaves that we may have left behind. There's another layer to this meaning. Mimi, everywhere that you go, you're going to leave a footprint behind, a sheave of sorts, a little piece of you. And the rest of us get to pick it up. What that means is that wherever you go, if you smile, we receive that smile and we become those in need who get your joy. When you're in a space and you share a piece of your wisdom, a piece of your goodness, a piece of your humor, all of us pick up those sheaves. We pick up that piece that you left with us, and it's forever part of us. That's another layer of what your Torah portion means, that you've made a difference. And thank God you don't come back and pick it up and keep it all inside of you, because our world needs Mimi Mirvish. Our world needs those beautiful attributes that your father lovingly shared, and the beautiful memories that your mother beautifully shared with us as well. So Mimi, on this day of your bat mitzvah, turn it over and turn it over. Keep on scrolling that beautiful parchment of your life, and thank you for giving me a little piece of your light. We are so proud of you today and every day. Cantor Lonnie has some words to share with you as well.
Mimi, what a long journey this has been to get here today. We're so excited to be standing here with you after all of this time, but it's been a beautiful time that's allowed us to throw a lot at you. So through this process, I kept saying, oh, why don't we add this prayer? Oh, why don't we add some more verses? You might not know, but Mimi actually ended up doing her entire Torah portion because we had all of this extra time. So you really have done such, I don't even know if you knew that, but you did your entire Torah portion. So you have put so much time, so much effort into this day. Now, I know you insisted that we not sing Miriam's song today, but you were our Miriam today. You were our prophet. You were this incredible soul who led us in song, who led us in prayer, who led us in celebration. So even though we didn't sing that song, you sang it for us today in everything that you did. We are so, so proud of you, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
We're going to invite your mom and dad and sister and brother to come forward to hold your talit over your head as we offer you this blessing.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. Shalom.
May God's light always shine through you, Mimi, and give you the gift you give to us all the time, the gift of peace. Amen.
Amen.
Family group hug.
Good job.
All right, family, have a seat. Mimi, you're going to stay here. And what an honor it is to invite forward, representing our congregation, one of our most significant leaders, Elizabeth Ladova. Elizabeth, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi. Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
I'll give you a sideways hug and thanks my mouth over there. Mazel Tov. So proud. Oh, it's so great to be here and to be together. It's been a long, long time. And I have the honor, I was asked by the
board of directors of the synagogue to represent the community today in presenting your Bat Mitzvah certificate. You've done it. It's official. She's completed it. Mazel tov, Mimi. Here it is, certificate of Bat Mitzvah. And we're so proud of you. And in your honor, the synagogue has also planted a tree in Israel in your name. And just like you have roots planted here at Temple Akiva, as you go stretch out from here into the world, I hope that you will always remember that you have a home here at Temple Akiva and a family at large. Mazel tov to your family, valued members of this community for a very long time, and I'm delighted to see our Temple Akiva kids. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here after not having been here for so long. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Mazel tov. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Now we've got one more ritual here. I'm going to just pull this out. We have a special scroll. We call it our Ladova scroll. It was designed by the artist Mordechai Rosenstein. And let me show you, here we go. Let me show you what this looks like. It says in Hebrew, Orenu meir tov yoter yachad, which means our light shines brighter together. And it has his beautiful artwork. That is our logo. That's our motto at Temple Akiva. And it's blank on the inside, or at least it used to be. But it now has the names of every single person who becomes bar and bat mitzvah at Temple Akiva. And so you are following Natalie Cayetano. And you're going to put your name here and today's date.
This pen doesn't work.
Uh-oh, hold on. Try it again.
Okay. Still doesn't really work.
Does anyone have a good working pen out there? Let's see. Hold on one more second. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Z. Oh, perfect. Oh, wow. Okay. Mazel tov. Everyone wish her mazel tov. What you don't know is that another attribute of 13 is that tomorrow is the 13th day of the Hebrew month of Tishrei. So we can continue to celebrate 13 for at least another day to come. Mazel tov to you. Friends, we're going to ask for you all to please rise once again as we enter our concluding prayers, the Aleinu, on page 282. Mimi, if you'll come and open the ark for me.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanik ha'aratzot, shelo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo echad.
On page 291, as we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish, we offer the following poem by Chana Senesh. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. We remember, especially at this time, Sydney Mirvish, Miriam Mirvish, Julian Mirvish, and Alan Miller. May their names guide us with peace and with goodness. On page 294, we read together. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach rotei v'yamlich malchotei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, bagalau v'yizman kariv imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam oamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemed Kodashah Barichu. Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace to be known in the high heavens help us understand that by reaching out to each other we create peace on earth as well. For all Israel and for all humanity we say,
Amen.
Amen. So, Mirvish family, join your sister, your daughter up here once more. Kendra, do you want to share our closing today?
Our closing song is Oseh Shalom. It's the last few lines of the prayer that we just led. We are going to ask for you to put your books down for this prayer, though, because there's a lot of hand clapping. So get ready to sing along with us and clap your hands. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
And Mazel Tov. Wow. Yeah, good. Mazel tov. Friends, this concludes our service, but just let the joy begin. For those who joined us on Zoom once again, Shabbat Shalom and have a great day. We wish you were here in person. And Mimi and your family, lots of blessings. Amen.
Thank you very much for coming.
Woo, I have an announcement. Okay, no one's thinking so. If you are coming to the party, gather on this side.
The lunch.
The lunch party. The lunch. If you're coming to the lunch, gather on this side. Okay, most of you are here. I will be your point person for getting you into cars to get you to the house, okay? So stick around. Raise your hand if you have a car that is taking people to the house. So we got Leanna, we got Matthew, Talia, and Luis, and Sasha. Luis and Sasha. Okay.
Fine.
All right. How many people can go with Talia? What